Windows 11 is a game changer, both for our partners and for our joint customer base. Windows 10 is a great OS, but it's important to remember that it's over 7 years old now, and things have really changed. How we work has changed, and critically, the threat landscape has changed. So we designed Windows 11 to meet today and tomorrow's needs. It's really built for a hybrid and distributed workforce, and it's our most secure OS to date.
Welcome to the Microsoft Cloud Executive Enablement Series, where we speak with Microsoft Cloud senior leaders and experts about the latest trends and technologies we're seeing in the market. The goal of this series is to share with you and your teams our perspective on the business value driven by the Microsoft Cloud for our mutual customers, and the opportunities for our partners to grow their business with Microsoft.
Hi, I'm Tom O'Reilly, your host for today's episode, and I'm joined today by Melissa Grant, who's our Senior Director of Product Marketing for Windows 11 Enterprise, and there's lots of stuff for us to learn today, so we're going to get right into it. Melissa, firstly, let's learn a little bit about you and how you came to Microsoft and be into this role.
Thank you so much for having me, Tom. I'm really excited to be here to talk with you and all of our partners. I've been at Microsoft now for almost 12 years. And prior to my current role, leading product marketing for Windows 11 Enterprise, as you said, as well as Azure Virtual Desktop and Windows 365, I worked in product marketing for Microsoft Endpoint Manager, or what we now refer to today as the Intune suite. And then before that, I actually spent a number of years in our analyst relations team representing kind of everything Microsoft 365, Windows devices, Surface, as well as Defender to our industry analyst community. So it's been a great experience for me at Microsoft.
Fantastic. That's quite the journey. All right, so let's jump right in. Why should our partners really invest in learning about Windows?
That's a great question, Tom. Windows 11 is a game changer, both for our partners and for our joint customer base. Windows 10 is a great OS, but it's important to remember that it's over 7 years old now, and things have really changed. How we work has changed, and critically, the threat landscape has changed. So we designed Windows 11 to meet today and tomorrow's needs. It's really built for a hybrid and distributed workforce, and it's our most secure OS to date. So we made significant changes, not just to the core of the operating system, but also the way Windows interacts with hardware, software, and importantly, cloud services that help organizations stay safe in this ever-changing sort of threat landscape that we all get to deal with. We also made a lot of improvements to both the UX as well as the security. So we added a lot of improvements to the desktop, more ways to customize it, more ways for people to stay in the flow of their work. And we always listen to customer feedback. So with Windows 11, we also made a lot of improvements to critical IT functions like provisioning, deployment, and management so that our very hardworking IT pros can get the flexibility they need with the control that they really require. And these two things really come to life when you have Windows 11 with Intune together. In fact, we find that our customers who use a combination of Windows 11 Enterprise and Intune can actually improve their operational efficiency by 90%, while at the same time reducing risk to the operating system by 20 to 30% and increasing end user productivity. This is all based on a study that we commissioned with Forrester to really understand the benefits of Windows 11 Enterprise and Intune together. So it really is a game changer.
Yeah, I mean, it's so impressive, right? I mean, I'd forgotten that Windows 10 is 7 years old. There was that funny thing that happened a few years ago that seemed to have made our sense of time, disappear for a while. But you mentioned before Azure Virtual Desktop and Windows 365. Windows 365 is pretty new. Can you share more information about it and how it enhances our user experience?
Yeah, absolutely. Windows 365 is what we call the world's first cloud PC. It's a complete SaaS service that delivers a personal, persistent, and full fidelity Windows experience from the Microsoft Cloud to any device. So for end users, they can access their cloud PC and pick up right where they left off, like right where they left off on all their apps, content, and setting. Even the mouse cursor is in the same spot when you move from device to device and log back into your cloud PC. But the real beauty of Windows 365 is its simplicity and fast time to value, because you administer, provision, deploy, and manage cloud PCs, again, through Intune. So it works just like a physical PC and takes literally minutes to get employees set up to leverage Windows in the cloud. And then you can apply all the same security baselines, images, push apps in the same way, just like you would with a physical PC. So it provides a lot of flexibility for our customers by giving them choices for how to access Windows 11. They can get a new PC. If they want a lot of customization and control, we have Cloud VDI with Azure Virtual Desktop. And now we have Cloud PC with Windows 365. And for end users, it looks just like a regular Windows experience. But again, it follows them across all their devices and is always persistent and up to date.
Yeah, I mean, flexibility, hybrid, all those things have kind of really taken on an entirely new meaning for us and many of our customers. So how are people using Windows 365?
Yeah, great question. We're seeing a lot of different use cases because, again, all this hybrid and distributed work really requires that level of flexibility. But there's a couple that really stand out, and those are mergers and acquisitions, remote workers, especially people in very remote areas where it's hard to get them a new PC or provision a device. Temporary and contract workers, BYOPC programs, which are becoming more and more popular, and then highly secure environments where it really benefits the organization to keep more of their data and content in the Microsoft cloud and then make that available through the cloud PC to an endpoint of the employees or the organization's choice.
So if you don't mind, I want to take a little segue across to the security side. I mean, we've seen the threat landscape of security change significantly over the last couple of years, especially with this change to remote and hybrid work and, jobs and functions that never typically had to work remotely or outside of an office change from there. Can you walk us through some of the new security features in Windows 11 and how they protect us against today's threats, but also more importantly, the future threats that are coming?
Absolutely. And security, we know, is top of mind for all of our customers. So I'm really happy to talk about it. Windows 11 is really designed to combine features that enhance our security, like phishing protection, advanced monitoring and reporting, and simpler provisioning with the hardware. So really with Windows 11, we're seeing a unique interaction between the hardware and the software to protect the OS. So there's a couple of key components to this. We have virtualization-based security and a hardware root of trust that starts with the Trusted Platform Module, or TPM 2.0, and Pluton processor. This is a chip that generates and protects encryption keys embedded as part of the motherboard. So really significant hardware improvements that come with that Windows 11 PC. And you can get this on a wide range of PCs of different sizes and form factors from both Surface as well as our OEM partners that have this chip to cloud security, so that regardless of who in your workforce you're picking a device for, you know that it's going to be the most secure. And that security and privacy depend on an OS that guards the system and the information belonging to an organization right from the moment it starts up. So that chip to cloud protection ensures that there's no gap in that experience. And these advanced safeguards that we have in Windows 11 Enterprise are intelligent and they're cloud-based. So they're able to react to evolving threats as well as unique threats. And we also turn a lot of these security features on by default, again, so that the moment you start that PC, you're protected. So credential guard, local security authority protection, those are enabled by default on new PCs. So you never run that risk, even when you're starting from a new device.
Yeah, I mean, this multi-level and multi-layer of security, it's amazing how much it's changed. And to see that it's embedded all the way from the motherboard, all the way from chip to cloud. It's incredible. How does the new Windows Auto Patch service work, and what benefits does it provide to organizations?
Great question. Auto Patch is another way that we both make life easier for our IT pros and make sure that we're helping our customers stay more secure by providing this automated service that takes on the responsibility of deploying Windows updates across your device estate. So now Microsoft can take on the responsibility of deploying updates, monitoring that update compliance. You can also pause or roll back if needed and provide update reporting. So IT still has oversight with what's happening, but we're taking on some of the actual manual work of it. And our goal here is really to keep devices up to date, which makes them more secure and helps users be more productive because it's less disruptive for them. Later this year, we're going to add a new feature to Windows Auto Patch, which will actually support the deployment of Windows 11 on eligible devices. So we know how busy our IT pros are these days. And what we want to do is not just provide this ability to automatically update and keep them more secure, but also help them do their migration for Windows 10 to 11. Again, we always make sure IT is in control, but we want to offer a little bit more service to our customers to help them stay focused on the things that are most meaningful for their organization. And then I also would be remiss not to mention that Windows Auto Patch also supports Cloud VDI with AVD and Windows 365 Cloud PCs. So again, you can patch and manage your entire estate, whether those are physical devices or they're virtual devices.
Yeah, it's so nice to see that you can sort of take that proactive stance rather than being reactive to any of those threat vectors that are out there and keep up to date. Let's again sort of change gears a little bit and talk about some of the integrations that are there. Intune as well as the store. Let's talk about that. What is the integration between Intune and the Microsoft Store look like with Windows? And how does that impact for customers, their app discovery or acquisition? And how do they deploy or manage that fleet of applications on the device?
Yeah, we've made a lot of progress in this area in the past couple of years and really modernized the application experience with Windows. So the integration between Intune and the Microsoft Store on Windows is really designed to simplify that discovery and acquisition while maintaining control for IT over the application supply chain by making sure that all apps that that an employee is able to access are approved with the right signatures and the right use cases through Intune. So they have this single management plane across all of the devices within their organization by which to manage, push, approve, block apps. So again, IT in control. But for employees, it looks like a very familiar, very consumer-friendly kind of app store. So something like they would experience on their personal devices. So it's very easy for them to find applications and get the right tools to do their work, but we maintain the security and control that organizations need.
Can you explain the reason behind simplifying some of the branding of Microsoft's endpoint management offerings and how that might affect the configuration manager?
I'm so glad you asked. This is a favorite topic of mine because I actually helped to launch the Microsoft Endpoint Manager brand 5 years ago. And at that time, we really wanted to encourage customers to embrace co-management through tenant attach, really on their way to the cloud. But now, 5 years on, we've seen really incredible momentum amongst our customers to embrace cloud management. And in fact, many customers are taking this moment in the transition from Windows 10 to 11, and in some cases, the adoption of Windows 365 to make that last final shift to pure cloud management. So to reflect that, we thought it was a good time to really embrace Microsoft Intune as the flagship for this cloud-based unified endpoint management brand. And then, of course, we will continue to support Configuration Manager. That is a foundational part of our endpoint management family.
So, Melissa, with all of these changes that we've seen in the platform, have we seen any tangible data or numbers that we can put behind the impact of this change for our customers?
Absolutely. In fact, customers who use Windows 11 Enterprise together with Intune improve their operational efficiency by 90%. At the same time, they are able to reduce risk to the operating system by 20 to 30%. and increase end user productivity by up to 15%. And this is based on a study that we did with Forrester to measure the total economic impact of Windows 11 and Intune together. So you can see it really is a game changer. The data proves it.
So, Melissa, I mean, these numbers, you look at them on face value, they sound like they're going to have a big impact. Really, when you talk to customers and they're giving us, obviously, some anecdotal evidence, what do they tell you the real impact of those numbers really means to them?
Yeah, I think it falls into three categories. One, it means that they're meeting their security goals, and that is top of mind for all of our customers. Two, it means that IT is able to be more efficient. They've had a lot of work to do over the past 3 years, especially given the changing nature of how we work, given the changing nature of the threat landscape. So anything that we can do to improve efficiency and help our IT pros do more while not having so many manual processes is a real benefit to literally how they do their jobs every day. And then the third piece is making sure that end users are having the best experience with Windows. So when we say things like increasing end user productivity, this is allowing people to get to the information that they need faster, to have a desktop experience that feels more personal and allows them to focus more. So the combination of all of these things really means that an organization is able to meet the needs of its people, its IT people, its employees, as well as the security threats that all of us have to grapple with. So really our goal is to help our customers get the most out of their Microsoft investment so they can get on with driving their business forward.
Yeah, and I can say as a Windows 11 user, it actually looks nice and it's beautiful to use as well, right?
It is. And we really spent so much time on the design, really thinking about what was going to be the best experience for people like us who spend a lot of time in front of a computer every day, more and more use it for communications and collaboration, really trying to make sure that that design supported that experience.
Fantastic. Melissa, I feel like this is an area that we kind of take for granted a little bit. What else do we need the audience to know about Windows and Intune when they're talking to their customers?
One thing that's really important that I want to bring up is app compat. Application compatibility is a core tenet of our Windows planning and development process. And it's very different than it was 8-9 years ago when customers were transitioning from Windows 7 to Windows 10. In all honesty, there was a lot of compatibility challenges with that. But now we have taken a different approach. So we build Windows with a commitment to compat, and we invest rigorous testing as well as tools for our customers to prevent introducing compatibility issues as we service and update our in-market products. And this was a core element of Windows 11. So a couple things we offer is TestBase for Microsoft 365, which makes it easier for businesses to test critical applications in a sandboxed environment. And second, we support our customers and our partners with Azure. So even though we're really confident that all applications that worked on Windows 10 will work on Windows 11, and it really is like 99.7%, in the event that an app doesn't work, we back that up with Microsoft engineering support so that we can be sure that we are fixing any problems that our customers may encounter. So really what I would love for folks to take away is that there are no compat issues that should hold people back from making the transition from Windows 10 to Windows 11.
A couple of last things. If you're out talking to, leadership at a customer and they're looking for, impactful ways that they can help their productivity in the company, what's the three things that you sort of hit them with in terms of why they choose, new PCs with Windows 11 or why they'd want to consider Windows 365? What's those three sort of points that you make sure that they never walk out of a room without hearing?
First of all, I always like to mention the importance of security and the fact that so much of our security these days is proactive, because it's one thing to have a secure environment. It's another thing to disrupt people and create a lot of manual processes in order to realize that secure environment. So we've really built so much of it in. We've turned it on by default. We've made it really proactive and intelligent. So the idea is you're secure without even having to really think about it, and take away some of the productivity disruption that can come with doing security updates or manual patching. So that's number one. Number two is the flexibility that we offer our customers to get Windows in a variety of different ways, and to get Windows on different devices through Windows 365, again, without giving up that security or the experience, that magical thing of having it look just the way you left it, even when you might be picking it up on a different device than your standard Windows PC that you work on every day. And then the third one is we've really tried to improve the experience for end users by making Windows more focused, more customizable, easier to use, better integrated with critical tools like Teams, so that really it's a joy to use Windows. Everything you expect is at your fingertips, and you're able to get your work done in a really fluid way every day, no matter where you're working.
And for our partner base, I mean, this seems like such an amazing opportunity. How have you seen our partners, our best partners, adapt their business to make the most of this opportunity from when we launched Windows 10, 7 years ago, to now the suite of offerings we have with Windows 11 Enterprise and Intune and Windows 365, and how all this comes together? What does that partner business look like today in terms of how they're able to help their customers and really make a great practice out of it for their own business?
Yeah, our partners are really, really critical, of course, both in the services they provide as well as the applications, peripherals, devices that support the entire Windows experience. But probably the thing that stands out to me the most is the critical role that our partners have played in helping our customers make the journey to the cloud. Because so much of the value that we offer in the product today, in Intune, in Windows 11, in cloud PCs, is powered by the Microsoft Cloud. And our partners have helped our customers along that journey through co-management, through adopting new cloud-powered security services. And really, that's a major change that's really happened over the last 7-8 years as folks move from Windows 7 to 10 and now to 11. And our customers could not have made that journey, transition their business, did that cloud-powered change in their environment that unlocks so much of these powerful features without the support of our partners, bringing them on that journey, making that change possible for them, and then, of course, offering wonderful services and applications and devices that bring all of that to life.
Well, Melissa, thank you so much for joining us today. It has been my pleasure and a delight to talk to you and to get your energy around this topic. It has been fantastic. So thanks again for joining us. I really appreciate your time.
Thank you so much for having me. I am a grateful member of the Windows ecosystem team. So really a pleasure to be here with you today to talk about Windows 11, Windows 365, and Intune.
So that's our episode for today. Thank you so much for watching.
And that wraps up today's episode. Don't forget that this episode is a part of a series featuring some of our most experienced and innovative global executives, packed full of great insights and examples of how to make the most out of working alongside Microsoft. If you haven't already, make sure to check out our other episodes. No matter your industry or area of focus, the Microsoft Global Partner Enablement Team is here to enable you and your teams to achieve more. If you want to hear a little more of this episode, we have a podcast which has some more of our discussion and some bonus content. If there's an area of cloud innovation you'd like to hear more about, please send us a note at salesenablement-gsi@microsoft.com so that we can create content that meets your enablement needs. Thank you for listening, thank you for engaging with us, and thank you for being a Microsoft partner. We'll see you on the next episode of the Microsoft Cloud Executive Enablement Series.